Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir, tout le monde. Welcome. Bienvenue. En île. My name is William Simpson. I was born in the year of our Lord 1794 in Beauharnois, Quebec. I come from an established family and was thereby educated at the Collège de Montréal. This is where I picked up my French language. I worked for the British Commissariat there as a highly regarded clerk and watcher of food and supplies for the British military post. It was during this time that I noticed les voyageurs de Courte de Bois coming back from the wilds of that western frontier. They talked of inland seas, very rich in beaver and furs. These men were making money hand over fist. Here I was, stuck at the desk. What I found was a boring existence. I yearned to see that wild frontier. I got my wish when I was posted to Drummond Island, up by the straits of Michilimackinac, where a British outpost was settled there. And after 3 years in the commissariat, I quit the British Army and struck out on my own. And here, I thought that I would be disciplined by the British, but I needed more discipline and fortitude than I ever did, paddling the wilds of the rivers of the Great Lakes Superior, of Georgian Bay. Oh, the adventures we had. We moved about the country, all of the time traveling, gathering furs. No time to think about getting married. So while I was in Drummond Island, I lived with the Solomon family, Guillaume and his wife, and my good companion and friend Louis Solomon. Well, one day, Louis's mother thought it would be a good idea if I married the native girl who ran the stores down by the shore. I asked her, not knowing the way of women, if she would speak for me. Later on that day, I was married. Country wedding. Wasn't long after that, and no surprise, when the Boundary Commission came calling, and the British had to vacate Drummond Island as it was ceded to the Americans. And in 1828, on November the 4th, HMS Wellington and the private schooner Alice Hackett left with 70 of the voyageurs, their families, British personnel. These two ships were followed by many teams of voyageurs and very many First Nations people. My wife and I stayed on an extra season so we could sell our furs and she could sell out the stores, and we also made a lot of money. When I arrived here in Penetanguishene in 1829, it was nothing but a cedar swamp with a few wigwams and some shanties. I got to work building a cedar log cabin on the northeast corner of Owen and Water Street. Sadly, in 1831, my wife passed. There was no consecrated ground, so I buried her behind the house. It wasn't until 1940, when this very ground that we are on was consecrated, that I reinterred her body and moved her here to St. James on the Line. We had a wonderful life here in Penetanguishene. I later married Catherine Craddock, and together we raised 5 sons and 3 daughters. In 1865, Catherine passed away, and I was able to bury her in consecrated ground right away. I left this earth in the year 1868. 74 years old. I've had a wonderful, adventurous life, and I loved every day and every minute of it. And I wish that upon you as well. And with that, I bid you good night. Bonsoir.